Christianity is in the midst of an identity crisis. Attendance, especially among millennials and Gen Z, is in steep decline. They say traditional church services don't speak to their lives, and in response, religious leaders are scrambling to stay relevant. NPR's John Burnett reports on 3 churches in Knoxville, Tennessee that are experimenting with new ways to offer meaning in people's lives.
At a community garden, a small group huddles around a fire pit under the limbs of an expansive box elder tree. Church is about to start, and it's cold.
God our Father, we are just so thankful for this time that we have to share this morning. And God, we really thank you for fire that keeps us warm even as we sit up under this tree. We just pray that you would bless our time together.
3 years ago, Pastor Chris Battle walked away from more than 3 decades leading Black Baptist churches and started Battlefield Farm and Gardens in Knoxville. They grow vegetables and sell them at a farmer's market. They also collect unsold produce from around the city and once a week deliver it to people in public housing. Why did he leave? Battle, a big man with a pipe clenched in his generous smile, had noticed that more and more people were turned off by the sermons, the pitches for money, the Sunday morning formality of it all.
So I said to myself, maybe we need to begin to do church differently. But what does that look like? And I didn't know until I got to the garden.
The people who come to Battlefield Gardens on Sunday morning are mostly refugees from traditional religion. Battle delivers a brief sermon on the teachings of Jesus. They talk about it. Then, instead of altar calls or Holy Communion, his congregation, such as it is, tends to the 50 raised beds of kale and eggplant, string beans and squash, tomatoes and greens, as well as the chicken coop and compost pile.
People, when they come to the garden, they'll have conversation with you. But you tell them you're a pastor, the conversation changes. Okay? They hide their liquor. They quit cussing. I mean, everything changed. But you tell them you're a farmer, and they start telling you what color their thumb is. And I'm like, wow. Meeting people, developing relationships with people in the garden, and it's not happening in the church. People are running away from the church.
Indeed they are. Last year, Americans' membership in houses of worship fell below 50% for the first time since Gallup started its authoritative religion survey. In 1937, the year the Gallup poll began, 7 out of 10 Americans attended church. In 2020, before the pandemic, only 47% of Americans said they belonged to a church, synagogue, or mosque. It's been trending downward since 2000. Put another way, millennials and Gen Z are rejecting organized religion.
Genuinely, I'm here because I want 2 things out of church.
Kelly Siskoyas is a 27-year-old PhD candidate in English who comes to the garden on Sundays and delivers veggies.
I want time to sit down like we do on Sundays sometimes or around the fire and pray and recenter and figure out what we're about in the world, because the world is very noisy. And then I want church to be a place where you get done with your community and for your community.
Again, Pastor Chris Battle.
We were trying to create this community that people who learn to love each other and ultimately love the world and transform it through collard greens. And okra.
This impulse, this urgency to do something different is being felt throughout the Christian church. Once booming evangelical churches are worried, but for liberal mainline Protestants like the Lutherans, Methodists, Presbyterians, and Episcopalians, the hemorrhaging of members has become an existential question. Consider Knoxville's Marble City United Methodist Church. The stained glass windows are still there, but now the structure houses an architectural firm and the Golden Roast coffee shop. The church closed a couple years ago because worshipers stopped coming and tithing. Now people have returned, this time to the altar of caffeine.
Honey latte?
Thank you, ma'am. Y'all have a great day.
Every year we close anywhere between 2 and 5 churches, every single year.
Reverend Bradley Hyde is a Methodist pastor in his 25th year in the ministry. From his seat on the Regional Church Conference in East Tennessee, he's watched the pandemic drive even more people away.
I think people were already wanting to leave church, and COVID gave a great opportunity for people to say goodbye. I'm not the only pastor who has noticed that, but a lot of people have just not come back.
Hyde says he did focus groups among his parishioners, and he heard the same thing over and over. The church needs to do a better job of connecting with the community. So now his church, Bearden United Methodist, does its version of Chris Battle's Okra and Collards ministry. They collect unsold produce from local vendors and then, once a month, bring it back to the church parking lot.
And our community is finally getting the word that we offer high-quality produce that they can come and get for no cost. And it has been a game changer for connecting with our community.
So just